Okay, so I just want to review a little bit what we learned on Monday, right? So for this class, basically we mostly focus on the software. That's why I do not focus much in the hardware. And the software, you know, that it break it down into two major categories. The first one is application software, right? And the second one is a system software. And application software, you can think about anything about enhance productivity, solve problem, and you can think about Microsoft Word or Excel or Photoshop. They are application software, right? And the second one is a system software. System software can be the operating system or firmware. They are the software who control and maintain hardware and who interface with the end user. And you can think about Windows or Linux and so on. And also we learn about machine language, low-level language, and we learn about high-level language. You know what is the pro and con of the low-level and high-level language. And also we learn about the compiling and interpreting. And some of the program is compiling. That means you have to translate it into the machine language one time, and you can run it again and again. But for interpreter, it is interpret line by line, and it has more interaction with the end user. So it's based on the program. Some of them it can be the compiling, and some of them it can be interpreting. And also we learn about the logical error and syntax error, right? Now tell me what is the difference between the syntax error and logical error. I mentioned it on
syntax error is like a missing quotation or words or letters flipped around, and it won't allow the program to run.
Yes.
Logical error, the program will run, but it won't give you the answer that you want.
Yeah, right. The output is not what you expected. It's not correct output, right? Okay. And also we learn about the program development cycle as some of the major steps you need to know. You have to understand the problem. It's very, very important step here. And more specific about the problem, you know, the more success rate you can get it here. And you can plan for the logic. You code the program with the software. You have to make sure it's also, whenever you're done with the program, make sure you have to test it again to make sure the output is what you expected here. And you can put it into the production, or you have to maintain program. What happened? And remember, it is a cycle, right? So anytime if anything go wrong with your program, you can go back to fix it and do it again and again. It's an iteration process. Okay, now for the planning process, normally you can do it with a pseudocode or flowchart. It is a complicated program, so you have to put a lot of efforts in planning. But normally, if it's a simple program, many of you skip this process and you can go directly with the coding. But if you think about very, very complicated program, you have to do it very, very carefully with understanding problem and planning. So basically, for the planning logic, you can do it with a pseudocode, or you can do it with a flowchart. And pseudocode is not the real programming language. It is an English-like representation of the logical step, and it takes to the solve problem. But one is understand the logic of the pseudocode, you can translate it into any programming language. And the flowchart, it is a pictorial representation of the logical step, and it takes to solve problem. Okay, so here is an example of very simple program with the pseudocode. You can see you can get input from the user, and you store it into the variable name my number, right? And also once you have the my number, you set my answer with the my number double, right? Double it, and after that you take it down and print it out. What is my answer? So basically, just remember that for every program you have the three major component. You have the input, right? You get the input from user. You do the processing with the formula or algorithm, and the last one is the output. You take it out what you want here, right? And in order to understand problem here, the first thing you have to identify what is it, what is the output you expected here, right? For this one, you know for sure I want to double a number, right? So in the case if you want a double number, you need to get the input from the user into this number, and you do the processing, you double the number, and you bring it down. So that is example of the pseudocode, and here it is and here it is a flowchart here. The flowchart is quite the same, right? You have start and stop. You got the input number, output answer, and you have the processing here. So basically, you have to remember about the format of the diagram here. Right? So we see whenever you have the input and the output, this is what is the name? A parallelogram, and this one is rectangle. Right? Okay. So you see, when you understand the logic of the pseudocode and the flowchart, it's really easy to convert it into the real programming language here. So in this class, you do both with the Raptor and the Python. You use Raptor and the Python again. Raptor is not the programming language. You can think about it quite the same with the flowchart here. You can see about the diagram here. You get the input, you do the processing, and you take it out the output here, and you can see it. No? No. Okay, so you can see basically for the planning logic, you have the two ways to do it. You can do it with a pseudocode, or you can do it with a flowchart, right? But when you understand the logic, you can apply it into any programming language. And for this class, you can do it both with Raptor and the Python. So we can take the Raptor is quite the same with the flowchart. You can see you get the input, you do everything, the processing from here, and you take the output here, right? And from the pseudocode, you see this one is pseudocode. When you understand the logic, you can apply with the Python here. You can see you got the my number, you get the number from the user, and you store it into the variable named my number here, right? And you do the calculation, and you take it out for the output here. So now, that's one thing I mentioned about in the last class about the prompt, right? Tell me what do you know about prompt, and what is the meaning of the prompt here? You can see about this program here. You can see if you look on this program, you can see what's going on here. Right? When I run this program, you can see what's going on in this program. Or if you want to run it by yourself, or if you want to run with the Python, you know how to do it, right? So I have the slide here. I will have the slides at the end of the PowerPoint. You can see how you download Python, how you download Python and how we run the Python with the idle editor. Or if you want to run with the Visual Studio Code, you are more than welcome to meet with this class. So I expect you turn on the screen here and you go to the Python and you can follow me step by step to run the Python in your computer. You can log in. I think that every computer here they already have the Python. You can go to the search and you put IO. Yes, no, you go to the IO here. That's in the box. Okay. Now I can show you when you do with the Python. You will have the Visual Studio Code here, right? Okay. You want to do with the Visual Studio Code. Mention. Yeah, you have the Python here. You install it. And then the Python version back. So when you see this is a Visual Studio Code, right? And you can see for this one here, you can see for this one, you can see this. When I run this program, see when I run this program, this is my this is my terminal, right? I have no idea what's going on with this one because of course I'm the one who writes this coding, right? And I know that I expect that I have to enter the number here. But if you think about the end user, and the end user have no idea what's going on with the program, right? I know for sure because I'm writing this program, so I have to enter the number here and the print it after 20. Right? But if you think about the end user, he expects that tell him, right, what's going on with the program and what he's expected to do with this one, right? So better that you have to put the prompt. The prompt is a meaningful touch to tell the end user what's going on with the program, right? So you can think about this one. I can modify it here. I modify it and the number. Enter the number. Here. Now I can run it again. Right? So see, it's way better for the end user, right? It's a program here tell user that please enter a number here, and I can put the number 15 here, and print it out 30. Again, I can modify for the output also. I can modify for the output to make it more sense. Number after. Okay, now you see, if I run it again, this time I put number 5, and you will see the number after double is a 10. And you compare the output here, this one, right? This one and this one, and you see the last one is way better for the first one, right? The first one only almost have nothing to do with the output here. You can see if you are the end user, it's very hard for you to understand what's going on with the output. Right? So again, that is really good practice in your any program. Try to integrate the meaningful prompt into your program. Right? Tell user what to do, and also for the output, also tell user what is expected output. Right? Make it more sense. And you can see if I go back to my my router here also. If I go back to my router in the program here, you can see when I run it again. See when I run it again also. Tell me, I don't know what I have to enter here, right? So what happened if I put A here, right? If I'm end user, I don't know what I have to do. I put A here. I got the syntax error. I believe. Yeah, I got this syntax error because I cannot multiply a string with number 2 here, right? So that's why I see in any program, even in Raptor or in the Python, try to integrate the meaningful prompt in this one. So you think about this one, I can modify it. Please enter the number. Put it here. So for this one, I modify it here, right? After double. It's way more sense for them. Now I run it again. Let's see. Tell user, right? Please enter a number. Now I enter the number 5, 6. And you can see the output here. The output here. The number after double is the track. It's way more sense for them. Right? So now from now on, try with a good practice. Any program integrates the meaningful prompt into your program. Make sense? Okay. Okay, so we see in this program here, you can see why is number 3 is showing. So from now on, try to integrate meaningful in your program, and you can see I modify my program. Now, here's a pseudocode. It literally input a number, but when you translate it in the meaningful prompt, you see you have the prompt here. Enter a number. Right? Remember, in the pseudocode, prompt here is output, not the input, because it's showing up to the end user. Right? It's a text to tell the user enter the number. And input here is a keyword. You got the number from user. You store it into the variable name my number. Right? Makes sense. Okay. Okay. So now, if you look in your program here, in your program, it's very simple program. You got the number, you double it and then print it out. But when you execute the program, it only execute for one time only, right? But what happened if I want to double for 5 number or for 10 number in my program? What I have to do with this one? What is it? At one time, I want to do it for 5 number or 10 number and so on. Of course, I can do it 10 times with this one, right? Or 5 times. You can see I can modify my number here. I can modify my number, my program here, right? So see what happened with my program. Copy it, paste it here, paste it here. So this program will execute 3 times. 3 times when I run it here. When I run it here. See, and the number 1, done. Again, number 2. Okay, number 3. Right? Now see, program execute it perfectly, right? 2, 4, and 6 here. But what happens if I do it for 100 times or 1,000 times? I cannot manually do it, right? I cannot manually do it. You see, you have to copy again, and copy again for 1 time. Right? So basically, in this case, you have to do with the loop in the programming. Right? The loop is a process that you do it again and again and again until the condition is not correct. Right? So basically, later on, I explain what the loop here. And you can see you can modify the same with the Python also. If I want to do it with the 3 times, right, I can copy it here. Here in my program, 1 time, 2 times, and I can run it again. So this one number 1, number 2, it says okay, and you can do the same, and you can do the same with the Python or the Raptor if you want. Do you have any question? Or if you want to do with the Raptor or Python by yourself, let's go ahead and do it if you want. Or you think it's okay with us. Any question? Okay, so now see. You can see about this one here, right? You can see about this one. If you think about this program, if I want to do it or for 2 times or 3 times, it's okay for me. I can copy it and paste it, copy it and paste it, right? But what happened? What happened if I want to do it for more than that? I can do it for the 100 or 1,000 times. It's not feasible to copy and paste it here, right? Because the thing that you have in that case, you have to create a loop. A loop. What is a loop? Loop is a repetition of series of steps here, and also, when you work the loop, you try to avoid the infinite loop here because some of the loop, if you code it incorrectly, it can live forever and never end. Right? I can show you with the loop in the Python or in the Raptor here, in the Raptor. Sorry, that in the Python. So in the Python, I can do it with the program here. Okay, so this is program in the Python here, and you see the condition here is a while true. That means keep doing it here, right? So when I run program, you can see when I run program, I have the 1, I have 2, I have 3, I have 4, 5, 6, and 7 here. But the thing here, I don't know how to exit program. This it's example of infinite programming. So keep doing it, right? I don't know how to exit it here, right? And in that case, I can modify it. I can modify my program. So I can see, I can have my program. Okay. Okay, so see, if you look on this program, the first step, I get a number, right? And I check the condition. If the number greater than 0, right? Why is the number greater than 0? I just double it and print it out, right? That is for one iteration. But if I want to repeat it, if I want to repeat for the new number, I need to get the new number here. And also I have a prompt to tell the enter a number and enter negative to exit, right? So see, if I run this program again, what happened here? What happened in this program? I run it again. So we see enter a number, enter number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Oh, what? It's not that's this one. Let's check. Let's see. Why not fix this program? Yes. Okay. So now the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and you see if I enter the negative number 1, program stop it. Right? So that the program it always solve problem of infinite loop. So that is something I want to mention to you, but we will learn about the loop later on this class. I think in the module 4 or 5. Yeah. But for now, I just want to show you something about the loop here. And you can do the same. You can do the same with the Raptor also, right? You can do the same with the Raptor. So you see, if you look on this Raptor here, if you look on this Raptor program, again, I run it, it only execute for one time, right? And the number 5. It do it and print it out, number 10 here. Of course, I can do with the loop in the Raptor also. You can see in the Raptor you have the option loop here. You have the option loop here. I can put it here, and I can put everything inside the loop. Inside the loop here. Yeah. So here the example of the loop is the Raptor. You can see over here is the example of the loop is the Raptor here, right? So see when you go to the loop, please enter the number. You store the number, right? And you check the condition here. If the number less than 0, you exit the loop, right? But if the number greater than 0, you double the number and you print it out, right? But when you execute program, you can see this is you have the huge problem with the program here. You see what happened here. You can see what happened is this program if I enter the number 5. Sorry, I have it correct. That is a syntax error because the variable name is inconsistent. So you can see if I enter the number 5 for this one, what happened? do forever. Okay, it keep running forever. Right? It keep running forever. You know why? You know why it keep running forever? For this one.
Because all your numbers are greater than 0.
Now, so what happens if I put the number negative 0? 55. It work, right? It work. Right? So here, the thing here for this one. If I modify my program, I cut it here. Let's see. You can see what happened in this program. That's a huge problem. Now see what happened here. If I enter the number 5, see, it keep doing it forever. Keep doing it forever. 10. You know why?
Because there's no condition to stop it.
Yes, right? Because you see, when you enter the number 5, you check the condition. It always not correct, right? That's why it keep doing it again and again and again and again. Because the number always stay at 5. Right? So basically, in order to stop this problem, you need to get the new value for the number in order to stop it, right? So you can put it here. You can put this one. You can modify program and equate it here and enter a number and enter negative. So see, I can modify my program and I will run again. If I number 5, the double is the number 10. If I number 10, the double is the 20. And if I enter the negative 2, 3, the program stops. Right? Okay. So again, when you work with the loop, remember something here. Right? You can create a loop, or the loop is an action of repetition. Do it again and again. And of course, when you work with a loop, always have the condition to check. Right? You have the always condition to check here, and you try to avoid the infinite loop here. Otherwise, you keep doing it again and again and again forever. Make sense? Okay. That I want to introduce you about the definition of the loop and also about infinite loop. But later on the module number 5, we learn more about looping. Okay, so basically, in order to do with the loop, in order to stop the loop, you have the 2 ways to do that. The first one is using the counter. Right? You make sure that you want to run it for 10 times. Right? So in order to do it with the 10 times, you have to maintain the counter here. You set at the beginning, you set the counter number 1. Right? And every time, you see, so this one is 5 times. So every time you have to check the condition. If the counter greater than 5, you exit the loop. Right? If not, double the number. But remember, one thing is very important. At the end of the loop, you have action to change the value of the counter. Right? Every time you have to increase the counter by 1. Right? You can see what happened with my program here. You can see what happened if I run my program here. You can see step by step. You can see step by step here. At the beginning, the counter number 1. Now enter the value number 3. I double it. You see my answer is 6. Now what happened? When you move to the next iteration, the counter is changed to number 2. And you see, because you have the action to change the value of the counter. And that's the one you can keep doing until greater than 5. That's why you see, for this one, it execute exactly 5 times, right? Now see, I have 1, I have 2, 3, so see, it do exactly 5 times, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is the last one. Right? Okay, so you have, in order to run the loop, you have to wait. You can maintain the counter. So when you maintain the counter, you know for sure, before you run the program, you know for sure how many times you want to do it. Right? How many times you want to do it here. And you can do the same. You can do the same with the Python also. See, you can do the same with the Python here. In the Python, exactly the logic is the same. I do it Python, I maintain the counter by 1, right? So why the condition less than or equal 5? Keep doing it, but you see, it's a very important step here. I have to increase the counter by 1 at the end of the iteration. Otherwise, it will be the entire identity. Now see what happens if I modify my program. This one, I delete this one here. You can see what happened here. You can see what happened here. It runs it forever. You know why? You know why it runs forever? Yes, because the counter is always stay at 1. Right? Always stay at 1. So what happened? Not greater than 5. Do it. Check again. Not greater than 5. Do it again and again and again forever. Right? Okay. The same when I work with the Python here also. Same when I work with the Python here. If I delete this one, you can see what happened here. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do it forever. Never ever end it. Because the thing, it is a counter, it always stay at 1. And the condition here, less than 5, always true, right? It's always true. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it forever. Make sense? Okay. So now I mentioned about the loop. So in order to exit the loop, you have the 2 ways to do that. The first one is maintain the counter. So when you work maintain the counter, you know for sure specify number of iteration. You want to do it 10 times or 5 times before you run the program. But what happened with my previous example here? I want to keep doing it again and again and again until I enter the negative number. I'm not for sure. At the beginning, I want to run it 3 times or 5 times or 10 times. So in that case, we use the sentinel value. Sentinel value, yeah, the next one here. The sentinel value is that when, think about this one here, I have the program, keep doing it until I enter the number 0. Right? So see, every time I get my number, enter the number until I get the number 0. And the condition here, if number 0, I exit program. And the same with the Python also. As the same with the Python here. Enter a number, enter 0 to exit. So keep doing it. So why the number is not equal to 0? Keep doing it, keep doing it. Right? So this is unspecified number of iteration because at the beginning I don't know how many times I run it. It might be 3 times, 5 times, or 10 times until I enter the setting when it is 0. Make sense? Okay. So remember we have 2 ways to exit the loop. If specified number of iteration, you maintain the counter. If not specified number of iteration, you maintain the second one. Okay. So the same with this program here. I can run this program here. I can run this program. You can see what happens. I can run it here. So I can do it. Number 5. Number 3. Now, if I want to exit, I put the number 6 and program exit because when it come back to condition, it's correct here. And 2, it exit. The same with my Python here. Same with my Python. So I run my program in the Python. Okay, so see, I enter number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and I put the number 0. The condition true. Now, one time is very important. I want to highlight it. Very important. Some of the common mistake when you work with a pseudocode or Raptor here. So we see, I don't know why it a little bit of conversion when I work between the Raptor and the Python here. Now, it's very important that when you work with the Raptor, if the condition is true, you exit the loop. You see, yes, here. If the condition true, it exits the loop. But actually, in every other programming language, if the condition true, you go into the body of the loop. You execute. That is a very, I don't know, it's very confusing when you work the after. So basically, normally for any other programming language, if the condition true, you go to the body of the loop. But you see, no, you go to the body of the loop. That's why, remember, when you convert it from the pseudocode into the raptor, you have to pay attention to that. You have to pay attention to that, right? Because normally in the pseudocode and every other programming language, if the condition true, you go to the body of the loop. But here, you exit it. That's very important concept is that you have to pay attention. Make sense? Okay. That's why you see. That's why if you look on the. That's why. Okay. So I think that's something I want to mention about the loop. But again, you will learn more detail about the loop in the module 5, not in this module. Now, understanding the programming and user environment. So normally when you work with the programming, you can work with the text editor. Text editor is used to create a very simple text file here. So even with when I put my program in the text editor here, I can go with the notepad here. I can write my program number, put it here, integer, input, enter a number. Okay, so now my answer is number up to, and I print it out my answer. Yeah, I can do it. I can do it with the text editor for simple program, right? So in order, if I want to run it with the Python, I just save it here. I just save, I put it in the Python py, right? That's .py. Because I want to run it with the Python, right? I want to run it with Python. Okay. That dot. Put it, desktop it. Save it. Okay, so I save it. Now I have the file in the desktop. Let's see my desktop. Where my desktop? Delete the file already? Sorry, I don't have it. If I look. Okay, so I have the file here in the desktop. I save it as a text here, right? And if you want to run it, you can run it. You can open with the idle if you want, right? The Python here. So you locate the file. The file here I save is in the desktop. Take it out from desktop. I can run it from there. You see, I can run it here, right? I can run it from the idle here. And there's a number 5. The 10 here, or also I can run it from the Visual Studio Code here. I open file and I locate my file. It is a where is the text? Then right, file, run it. Right. So that's the first thing. You can write the program with a simple text editor. Right? But I do not recommend you to do this. You should go to the idle here, because when you have to go to the idle, they already have integrated program of the idle, right? So we see again, if you work with the Python in the idle with the Python here, you go to the Python and you click the file here and you click the new file, right? And from that one you can write the code from here with the Python. Or if you work with Visual Studio Code also, you can put the new file here, right? You can put the new file, you select the language. I want to do with the Python. You see, it supports many programming languages. I want to work with Python. Now I do use Python. Makes sense? Okay, so you can see when you program, you have multiple ways to do this program. You can use a text editor, but again, I do not recommend you to do it. You should go to the integrated development environment. I don't get that. So we see when you work directly with the Python, you can do it, or if you work with the Visual Studio, you can do it here. I prefer Visual Studio because it gives a lot of benefits for me, and I'm familiar with that. But it's up to you. You can work with the directly from the IDLE in the Python or it's up to you. But again, you can see at the end of the slide here. At the end of the slide, I have the last slide. I have some of the instruction for you. If you want to work with the Python, you download the Python, and you can directly work with the interactive mode or idle in the Python. And if you want to work with the Visual Studio, I show you already. You have to download it. You have to install the extension version, and also I think you can run it. You can read some more here how to run the Python. And if you have any challenge with the Python, come back to me. 10 minutes. Any question, guys? Question? No. Okay. Okay, so for the evolution of the programming module, you have a lot of the process with this one, and the way and the new one is way easier to use when you compare to the assembly before it. And also we have the major model of the programmer. It can be a procedural programming or object-oriented programming. And the difference between them, I believe that I have the video.
A popular interview question concerns the 4 core concepts in object-oriented programming. These concepts are encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. Let's look at each of these concepts. Before object-oriented programming, we had procedural programming that divided a program into a set of functions.
So basically for this class, normally you work with a procedural programming. You create a function and work with that one. But later on, if you work with the SDEV 140, we work with the object-oriented programming.
So we have data stored in a bunch of variables and functions that operate on the data. This style of programming is very simple and straightforward. Often it's what you will learn as part of your first programming subject at a university. But as your programs grow, you will end up with a bunch of functions that are all over the place. You might find yourself copying and pasting lines of code over and over. You make a change to one function and then several other functions break. That's what we call spaghetti code. There is so much interdependency between all these functions, it becomes problematic. Object-oriented programming came to solve this problem. In object-oriented programming, we combine a group of related variables and functions into a unit. We call that unit an object. We refer to these variables as properties and the functions as methods. Here's an example. Think of a car. A car is an object with properties such as make, model, and color, and methods like start, stop, and move. Now you might say, but Mosh, we don't have cars in our programs. Give me a real
object-oriented programs, they try to encapsulate everything into the one object here. Like for object, you have a property, and you also have a method. Method you can think about the function. Because this class we do not focus on object-oriented program, so I do not want to go into detail about that one. But if you want, you can watch the video here to know what's the difference here. Because I want to save the time to help you with the homework and assignment. So now, okay, so now we move to a slide for the simple code. Because you see in this class, you have the sum of the action to work with the pseudocode in the debugging exercise, right? And you know that debugging is the process you have to find and locate the error and have to fix it, right? In the program. So if you look in the your class in the campus here, see it's more when you go to the module. For each week you have the debugging exercise. Debugging exercise where you work with the pseudocode or flowchart, and you have to locate what's going wrong with the program and you have to fix it, right? So think about this one. You download the program on the first weeks. You see, normally for each week you have the 4 debugging exercise, number 1, number 2, and number 3. And normally for number 1, number 2, and number 3, they are in pseudocodes, and you have to find out the error and correct it. And for the number 4, it is in the flowchart. And I also made an announcement. I made an announcement. You can check the announcement. So basically for the number 4, where? Not here yet. Question. Okay. I will make it later. Anyway, I can mention it here. So basically, it's for the number 4. It in the flowchart, right? So in order to correct it, you have a multiple way to do that. The first one, you can redraw it. You can use a Draw.io or Microsoft Word, whatever tool it is. You can redraw it and correct it. The first thing. The second thing is that you can convert it into the pseudocode. It's okay for me. Right? The first one, even that if you don't want to draw it, you can use a blank paper. You draw it by yourself, and you take a photo and you submit it. It's okay, right? And you have multiple inside. Now, because you have the sum of the assignment with the debugging exercise, that's why I want to mention a little bit about the pseudocode here. The first thing you have to understand that pseudocode is not programming language. It's not real programming language. It is an artificial and informal language that help you to develop algorithm. So normally it really help during the process of planning, right? Planning the logic here. Again, for the pseudocode or Raptor or any program, normally you have the 3 basic elements. You have the input. You get the input from the end user, or you can get input from a file or whatever it is. The second one, once you already have the input, you do everything the processing, right? Where you do the calculation, where you apply the formula or algorithm here. And the third one, the output, when you take it out, everything with the processing, take it out and bring it out, right? So now for the simple example, very simple example, right? So we think about a shop owner who sells ball, and each of them is for $5 here. And you have to write a program to ask the seller how many balls he sell for one day, right? And from that one, you have to figure it out how much money he get it, right? Or the revenue here, right? So for this program, again, it's very simple. With this program, you know for sure input is how many balls, right? Input is how many balls here. Now processing, use a formula here. Each of them is a $5, right? And you time with the ball, you got the revenue. So when you figure out the revenue, the last step, you print it out. You have to print it out to show the shop owner how much money you get it from selling the ball. Right? It's a very simple program. So basically, when you work in the pseudocode, you see the first step you have to declare the variable you use, right? And you know the variable, right? That variable is a one slot in the memory with a name. It's a name slot in memory where to store the value. You got it, right? So basically, for this one here in the pseudocode, you see for this program you have 2 variables. The first one is the ball, the second one is the revenue. Right? That's why you have to declare here, and you see some of the keyword here, and some of the keyword you can get in this one. Num here, that means it's in the number format. Right? Num here is in the number format, and this one is a variable. That is a variable. You get it from user. This one also, this is a variable. You figure it out, right? So when you declare it, you get the input from user. You figure out the revenue here, and you output it here, revenue. So see, you have the sum of the keyword here. It's remember when work with the pseudocode here. And the first one is a format number. Later on, you can see some of them it might be in the char or in the string here. Right? Later on, we learn about the variable format. It can be in the string or in the letter here. Now, the other keyword is input here. Input, that means tell you got the value from user and you store it into the variable name. Right? And so the other keyword you can see it here is output. Output, that means you take it out the value from the variable and print it out. Make sense? And you see in this one here, I have the I can do it with both with the Raptor and both with the Python here. It's very simple. It's very simple program. Right? Now, come back to this program again. If you look on this program, what is your comment? What do you say? Anything going wrong with the program? I'm not talking about the logical error or a syntax error, because this one, make sure it already runs smoothly. But any comment from you? You have no problem here, right? You have no problem here. You can see if I run the program here with the Raptor, you can see what goes wrong with the program. I run it here. Now, from end user, I don't know what is the value I put here, right? You see, I have nothing to tell user, right? That's why, again, try to integrate a meaningful prompt into the program. So, you move to this one here, right? You move to the next slide. Now, I make more sense with the prompt here, right? So see, instead of the tell user just get the ball here, now I modify it here and the number of ball so for today. Also, here today revenue is like way more sense to the anyway. Right? Now, when you see it in the pseudocode, what happened here? When you see it in the pseudocode, the same, right? You have to declare it here. But if you want to include the prompt in the pseudocode, you have to use the keyword output here. The output and the string here. I remember that output and string, that means that is a prompt. It tells you that, right? So you see, when you compare the difference here, when you compare the difference between the last one and this one, you can see the last one, you just get the value and store into the variable here. But you do not have the prompt to tell you what you have to do here, right? But when you compare to this one here, you have the output here. That is a prompt. That is a prompt here, right? That is a prompt. Also, for the output also, you include some of the text here. It make way more sense to that. Make sense? Okay? That's the first thing I want to mention about the pseudocode here. Now, I have the new problem, right? Now the shop owner wants to change the price for each ball from the $5 to the $6. So how can you modify program? How can you modify this program? What is it? Yes.
Turn the 5 into 6.
Yes, that's all, right? Change to 5 to 6 here. It's very simple, right? Now again, let's the time he call you. I want to change it to 10. What happened? You have to change it to 10. And again, he changed it again and again and again. Every time he had to call you to come to fix the program. So what is your solution? What is it? Every time he had to call you to come back to change it from 5 to 6 to 9. Yes.
Ask for an input for the price.
Yes. Right? So see, here it always stays 5 or 6. Later on you learn it's a constant. Constant, that means the number as that is variable never ever change during the program. But you see, why don't you have the option to allow him to enter the price of the ball, right? So he has the option to enter it. Maybe he can enter the 6 or 5 or 9. It's up to you. That's in that study. You have one more variable, right? In that study, you have one more variable here. Now see, I have one more variable. Now compared to the last program, I only have 2 variables, ball and revenue, right? But now I have one more variable, and I have option. I give him the option to enter the price by himself. Make sense? Now see, in order to do that now, you see, in order to do that now, you have the two inputs, not only one, right? Because see, one input is number of ball and another input is a price. Make sense? Okay, so see, now I have, so basically for this program, I have two input and I have one output here. Two input is the ball and price, and one output is the revenue. Okay, and I can run this program, you see, run this program again, you can see what happened here. Now I can run it, you see, I have action to get the number of ball for today, right? That is the first variable, that is the first input. So I have the 10 here, right? And now I need to get the input for the price. I have 2.99 here. And now the output, right? The output here. Okay. And also I can do the same with the Python, follow the same step. So see, in the Python, you have the two input here. You have the two input here. And in the Python, if you learn about Python, you see, where see, int here, that means integer format. Integer, that means the whole number. 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not 2.5 or 2.3, right? That's the whole number here. And float is what the price can be 2.99 or 2.90. That's why it's a float. Float is that you have both integer point and floating point. But integer is always the whole number. Right? So for this one, you see, you need to get two input from either. Two input from either. And then you figure out what the revenue, and it's pretty deductive. Okay, so basically that is a pseudocode. It's very simple. You see, you have the three components. You have three major components. You get input, right? You do the processing, and you take it out the output. But pay attention to declaration, right? Declaration. You have to declare what variable and what the format of variable here. That's the first thing. The second thing is that try to introduce meaningful draw into your program. Okay. Now. Now, remember some of the attention you have to pay when you work with error in the debugging exercise. I just mentioned you that you have two types of major error, right? The first one is a syntax error. The second one is a logical error. Right? So what happened here? Syntax error. If you look on this program, you can. Sorry. If you look on this program, you can easily find what is the syntax error. The most common syntax error is inconsistent variable name. You can see for this one here. I declare the ball. I store it into the variable name ball. But when I do with the calculation, I take the ball here. See, ball S here and ball, they are not the same. And when you execute the program, you will got the syntax error. That's why that's the one thing you have to pay attention when you work with the debugging exercise. Make sense? Now, you see what happened here. I can change it into program. I can change it into a program here. Now I just change it. See what happened if I delete S here? You have the program. Number 10. You see? Variable not found. That is syntax error. Interrupter here. The same when you run with the Python here also. If I change this one. Now, one thing I really like about this Visual Studio Code, even before I compile or run it here, it shows me something wrong with this one. See something wrong with this one. And again, when I run it here, I have 10, 299. See? You have syntax error because the name is not defined. So that is very, very common mistake when you work with the pseudocode or debugging yourself. You have to be consistent with the variable name. Make sense? Now I come back to the example of one of them. Okay. So now, if you look on this one, tell me what's wrong with this program. Now, the first thing I want to ask you about this program here. Whenever you do with the debugging exercise, the first thing I strongly recommend you have to read about the comment here. Have the comment. It tells you what you are expected to do with this one. This one is pseudocode. It intends to describe and computing the price of an item on sale for 10%. So basically, if you look on this program, tell me what is the input and what is output here.
Input would be the original price.
Yes.
Output would be the final price.
Yes. After the discount 10%. Right? Okay. Yes. Every program, please. The first thing you have to identify what is the output and what's the input. Right? Now, what's wrong with this program?
The discount is spelled wrong in the third line.
Right? You see this one, right? And this one. That's what you mean? That's what you mean? Yes. Yeah, they are not the same variable. So we see this one is a syntax error here. Anything else? Anything else?
You have the price next to discount.
The same, this one, right? This one is original price. And this one price. They are not the same. Right? Make sense? So see, again, if you convert this one into the Python or Raptor, you got the syntax error. Make sense? Because you have to be consistent, original price here. Anything else? So they are syntax error already. Anything else? Anything else? Now, tell me about the logical error. What is it? Logical error. What wrong? Yes.
It's multiplied by 0.25.
Yes, right? See, item on sale for 10%. But why 0 to 25? It's 25%. So see, if you correct everything here with the variable correct syntax error, you correct the syntax error, but when you run this program, the output is not what you expected here. So basically for this one, you got the 25% instead of 10%. Right? So basically you have to correct this one to what? Make sense? Okay? So yes, that's what I want to explain it about expectation when you work with a debugging exercise. You have to identify the syntax error and the logical error, and you have to correct them and set them and submit them. Make sense? Okay. Okay, so we see some of the syntax error I mentioned it here. The most common one is inconsistent variable name, right? And the second one about the logical error. So we see instead of the bold time file, you blur file here. The program run it, but the output is not what it is. The same with program, instead of time with the 0.1, you time with the 0.35. It's not correct. Right? Okay. Okay, so we see again, conclusion. Pseudocode is not real programming language. It is artificial and informal language that really help you during the process of planning. Right? And you remember that you have some thing when you work with pseudocode, normally you have the declaration. Right? For the first week, I don't know why they are not require you to do the declaration, but later on the second week, you have to put the declaration here. So have to put declaration for variable use, right? And so, right? And remember that you get the input, right? But should be better you include the prompt here to make it more sense, right? And you get the input for the price, but you should get the prompt here for the user, right? And figure out the price, and for the output also, you put some text here, make way more sense. Right? And you see, when you understand the logic, you can easily convert it into the Python here. You see, you know that you need the input for both integer, you need the input for price, floating. You need to do the conversion here, calculation here, and last thing, it is a output. So you see, if you understand the logic of the pseudocode, it's very easily for you to convert into Python or other. Make sense? Okay. Now I move to the Raptor. Again, the Raptor quite the same. I have the three basic elements in every Raptor program. They are input, get input from an user, assignment, everything is a calculation or formula as the output, right? So if you look into the page of the Raptor here, I just want to do it from the new. Okay, so that is interface of the blank program in the Raptor, and you see you have the three basic element in the Raptor program. Now you see you have input here, right? Everything with calculation and formula you do with assignment and the output, right? So think about this one here. I got the input. I mean again with the input. So now in input here. Now see, tell you here. You have the prompt on the top, and you have the variable in the bottom here. Right? The thing about I come back to this program. I want to write them. I want to code for this program here. Yeah, I want to code for this one. No, not this one. This one here. I want to do this one. So now see, I need to get the variable both here, but see, I need to have the prompt for this one here, so I can copy it. But it's up where put it here. Remember, everything you have to put it in the double point prompt. And see, variables where you get the value and you store it into the variable name. And the variable name for this one is a ball. So we store it here. You can see I do exactly the same. This one. That's the process I do with the input. Now for the processing, I get the value, right? For the processing, you have to do everything with assignment. You drag and drop the assignment. When you double click it, you can see you set variable on the left. You set the value to the value on the right. So we see for this one here, I have to put the value on the left, and I want to assign it to the value of 4, 5, because the revenue is a bold type 5. Make sense? Okay, that's all. That is the processing. Now you have the input already, you have the processing already. The last thing, what is it? The last thing, output. Print it out. Remember, you need the output here. So when you do the print it out, you do with the output here. Again, is the output when you click it. Of course, you can put the revenue here. So what happened? What happened with this program? You get the input and you store it into the bowl. You see when I done it here, I put the number 10. And you can see it stores the value of number 10 into the variable name. The bowl, the 10, and the revenue is the 50 here. But you see, when you run on this one here, the output it only shows the 50. Again, it will not really make sense to the end user, right? So try to include the prompt for the output also to tell user, right? So I can modify it by put some text here from the output. I can put some text here from the output. So that means for today is, and I concatenate it. So we see you have the two parts here. This one is text. It literally prints out the text exactly the same, right? But this one it is a variable. So it depends. Sometimes the 50 take out 50, put it here. Sometimes 100 take out 100, put here. So you have to deeply understand the difference with the text, literally text, and the variable. Right? So see what happened here. Now I run it again. I have the from here. Now see from here, right? Now this time I put 50. Now, yeah, that's why I have the revenue for today in the 75, right? And now I saw if I want to have option to hit the user option to get the price, I need one more input. So I need one more input here. So I have to modify. And I store it into the variable name price. And of course, this one I had changed it to the price. Then I run it. Have 60 gold today, and each of them 299. And the revenue here. Makes sense? Okay. Now, one thing I want to mention about I don't know, maybe next week, but for this week, let me go to the yeah. So, okay, so yeah, documentation is very important. Right? Documentation and on the module number 2, you learn about the comment, header comment, and inline comments. But for now, you should at least you should load. At least you should include the header comment into your program. Right? So basically, include the name of the program, author of the program, version of the program, summary or goal of the program, and variable use. Right? So for this one here, in order to include the header comment, you click on the start and you right click it, and you have the comment. Right? So I can put it here. Program, what is the program name? Yes, what else? Author. Let's version. That is version 1.0 because I only have one version. What else? And what else? Okay, variable use. So I have variable use. Variable use. For this one, I have 3 variables, right? For integer price. Because later on you see, for many programs, you have many variables. You cannot list all them down. But for this C program, you should, right? Okay, that is a header command, and you can do it. So I think that once you understand the logic, this one is very simple. This program is simple. Now, tell me about this program. What is the output and what are the input here?
Input is week and width,
Yes.
output is the area.
Yes, that's all, right? So if you do the same with this one, you need to get the width, you need to get the length from the end user, and you figure out what the area. That's all, right? Okay. So I think what else? Okay, now come back to my slide. Okay, so also I have the every slide in detail here. How can you do with input? How can you do with the output? How can you do with the calculation here? You can follow my slide. It's very detailed here. And how we run it, you can run it by step here. It's very, you can run it, run compile at one time. It's very, I think this is an old version of Flutter, but what is it? Or it can execute compilation, or you can click step by step. So it's very helpful in the case you work with the debugging or troubleshooting. Okay, the same with new program, you have to modify it, change from the 5 to 6, and you give one more price for him. Sorry, you one more variable price for him, allow him to change the price by himself. So comment here, you have the inline comment or header comment. Now, I think the last thing is about the basic introduction to the Python. So again, if you want to work with the Python by the own, by practice, and you want to practice by the own, I have the last slide here. Follow the last slide. How to download the Python. Work with the interactive mode or work with the idle, or you can work with the visual serial code. So basically for the Python, it is quite the same, right? It's quite the same. You have to assign the variable on the left, right? And you have the function here. So in the Python, whenever you have the input function, that means you get it from user. But it's very important. You have to remember when you work with the Python. Whenever you got the input here, whenever you got the input here, by the default, in the text format, in the string format. It's string format. So even here, even you put the number 5 here, but actually it is in the string format. Right? And if you want to do anything, any calculation with the number, you have to convert it into the number format. And you have some of the format here. The first one, int, that means integer whole number here. Right? And the second one is the float. Floating, that means you have the floating point here, 2.99. Right? So I can show you I can show you what happened with the Python here, and you can see why you have to convert it here. Let me go back to the item. Now think about this one. I have I and bring it. Sorry, not this one. I input enter number. And realize. Now I have see this one here. You got the error here, right? You got the error here. Even that I have I is number 10. Why I cannot add it too? Because now it is in the string format. You cannot add string format with the number here. Make sense? You can see here. You see here. Can only calculate the string, not integer to the string. Right? So I can see. I think it would be better I do it in the here. See what happened here. I have eyes equals I plus 2. You can see what happened here. Got it. Okay. See, you cannot add it, right? Because actually, when you enter the number 10, but it is in string format, right? That's why whenever you got it with input here, if you enter the number format, you have to convert it into the number format, right? And you have some way to convert it. You have to convert it into integer format, or you can have to convert it into floating format, right? So now I can convert it here. I can change it change my program. I stop it. I have to convert it here. I put integer here. Put it inside. So we got what happened here. If I enter the number 10, right, in string 10, but when I put int, it convert it into the number 10, right? And now I can run it here. I can run it number 10. See, I have number 12. Make sense? Okay? Or I can convert into the now. But what is very important here, you have to know for sure. It must be in the integer format. But what happens if I put the number 12.99? I got the syntax error, right? Because the 12.99 here is not integer, right? That's why in that case you have to convert this one here. You have to convert this one to the float. Make sense? Now see what happened here. I put the float here, 12.99, and now it works perfectly. Make sense? Okay. So something is very important when you work the input function here. Remember, whatever it is, it's always in string format. And if you want to work with the number calculation, you have to convert it into the number format. And you can use int to convert it into the integer, or you can use the float here to convert it into the float format. Make sense? Okay. Okay, so we see. I have the slide here, and okay, I recommend you to look everything in the slide. See, you have to convert it for the ball because must be the whole integer number. You cannot have a 299 ball here, right? That's why I convert it in integer here. But for the price, it can be 299 or whatever. So it's float, right? And then take it out revenue and print it out. Everything you say. Right? The input function always be strict format. Right? Number must be converted into appropriate number format. Okay, and for the calculation, you have many ways to do with the calculation here. Adding and subtraction, multiplication, division, integer division, remainder, and exponent. Right? So think about this one here. I want to do the exponent. Since that exponent here, right? Or I put number 25 and I exponent 2 is a 25. Right? Okay. And one more thing about you can do anything with this one, or I divide by 2, or I divide by 2 here, it's integer format. That take the integer number. Or you can subtract it, or you can add it. So, so that is some of the calculation you can do with Python here. One thing is very important I want to mention here. Remainder. Remainder, that means when you make the division, you got the remainder, right? So think about if I think about it, if I divide 16 here, divide by 5, what do you think? What is the remainder I have? What's the remainder I have? 16 I divide by 5.
1.
You have 1. Okay, and you can do the same. You can do with the Python here. So in the Python, if I had the h equal to 16, and I have h divided by 5, I have number 1 here. Okay, and you can do the same with the raptor also. You can do the same with the raptor. In the raptor, here. So go. Sorry, not this one. Okay. Let's see what happened if I add number 16 and output is number 1. My output. Sorry. Oh. Yes, see number 1. Okay, it's very helpful. It's later on you see why it's happening. So what happened here? I have a question for you. If I enter, if I got the number, how can I find out if the number is even or odd number? What is it? If I get the number, I have to write a program, and I get the number from end user, and from that one I have to figure out if it's an odd or even number. Yes.
Divided by 2, check.
Yes, that's right. Divide by 2. Actually, divide remainder. You have to find the remainder when you divide by 2, right? And if you have 0 remainder, that means it is even number, right? And it's an odd number, if the remainder is the one with the odd number, right? So see, you can find out where it's equal with the program. And the number, right? Number, right? Modified number. And from that, okay. From that one, I have remainder. Because later on we see about the selection that means yes or no, right? It can be 0 and 1 only, right? Because when you divide by 2, you only have 2 options of remainder, 0 and 1 only, right? And you can check it here. It remain equal to 0 equal to 0 even number. Not now you can run it here. See what happened here if I enter the number 15 and odd, right? And the number 10 is even. Right? Okay. Now, can you do this one with no, you have not learned selection in the Python yet. Okay, now, so if that is about the Python, right? You know that in order to get the input from user, you have to use the input function here. And remember that everything you got from input function is always in the string format. And if you want to do the number format, do with the calculation with the number, you have to convert it into the number format. It can be the integer or float here. Everything with the calculation, you just do it, right? And you remember that the new value on the left and the value we want to assign is on the right, right? Right. Okay. And the last thing is output. In the Python, you can use the print function here, print function, and you can use the print hello here, or you can concatenate between the string and the variable. So I see if you come back to my we come back to my example here. Okay, that is concatenation. And that's a concatenation. So you see, if you want to take it out from the output, you use a print function here. And you can concatenate between the string and the variable here. Right? You see, you have to very clarify between the difference between the string tag and the variable here. Now, if you look on this one here, this is literally the text, right? Whatever you enter, it always brings the same, right? But X here, it is the value of the variable and it's changeable, right? So think about this one. If I enter the number 5 here, so you have one slot in the memory, the name is X, right? And if you enter the number 5, it stores the number 5 here, right? And after that one, the new X is X number 5 plus 2. That means 7, and you store in the X the same. That's why you overwrite here the 7, right? And later on, you see the number after increase by 2. Once the X take it out, 7, right? Okay, that is, you have to be very clear about the difference between the string text, literary string text, and the value of the variable. Make sense? Any question, guys? Hello?
Not from me.
I'll take a short break. Okay. Now, I think I go almost all over everything in the module number 1. Let's see what is it. Okay, I think the last thing is executing code in the Python. I believe I mentioned it here once before here, right? So basically for this assignment, it linked it to the Cengage. And you click the start assignment now. Okay, so basically for this type assignment, you work with the virtual computer in the Cengage. You work with a virtual computer in the Cengage. That's why I mentioned that it's optional. You can install Python as your home computer or not. It's totally optional, right? But if you want to practice more with the Python again, I recommend you work with the Python or Visual Studio Code. So in order to work with this one, you see on the left is the summary and the instruction here. You have to follow instruction to tell you what is a problem here. I think for this one I need to reset. But I changed something already. This one. Oh, reset. I think I have option. Yeah. Again, reset environment. Reset. Okay, so see for this one, you just follow. It's very simple program, right? That's why see execute program should be no syntax error, right? Not the output. So we see what that I mentioned in the Python, right? When we want to print it out, want to take it out, the output use the print function here, right? And the text here is just literally like it will print out exactly what you put in the text here. So that's why when execute program here, or this program when it execute exactly everything inside the double comma here. It says, okay, now modify program so it displays I'm learning how to program in Python. Super simple here. Then copy text. I put everything under the double quote mark. What happened? See, I have a double quote. That's one. And now modify program with the 2 lines of the output at the second line. That's awesome. So how we do it? You need 2 lines, so that's why you need one more brace here. Need one more brace here, and you copy the text here, and write it inside the text here. And execute. Now see, one thing I just want to mention to you, right? Once you're done with the Python program, if you want to submit it, you click on the task here, on the left. On that one, if you have option to run check here, run check, and see how many percentage you got. For this one is 100, and I'm okay with that. I click the submit. Right? So remember that when you click the submit, I click the confirm. That is the whole process when you submit it. Otherwise, it will not show up in the grading book. It's automatic grading book. That's why I mentioned it again. It's automatic grading book, and I don't do it with the grade for this one. It's automatic. But for some reason, you found out that you do everything correctly, but the automatic grading is not correct. You send me the email, right? Tell John what the job problem. So I will go over it. I will manually modify grade for you. Okay. Any question? Okay. So yeah, I recommend you that if you want to go with the Python, you go back and download the Python in your home computer. If you want to work with a Visual Code, you download and install it. To work more with the Python, it's very interesting. And if you want to go with the software development, I believe that you go with SDEV 140. It's mainly work with the Python. And something I want to highlight here, because I see some of you already submit some of the assignment here. You go ahead the due date and you submit the assignment here. It's good, but I recommend you again that if you have the time, you can come back to see what's wrong with your assignment. I can see some of you submit the debugging with the assignment, but it's not totally correct. Because I mentioned it to you, right? You have to identify the 2 major error. The first one is syntax error. Right? The most common one is inconsistent variable names. And the second one is a logical error. Right? So see, you can think about the example here. Instead of the 10%, you discount it for 25%. That is a logical error. Right? Also for the Raptor, remember that you have to include the header command, and you know how to include the header command already, right? And I think for this week, Python is very simple, so you don't have much to work with Python. And now I think that's all for today. But I recommend you that you go home and you go over to module 2. Right? It should be better for you and me to go ahead of the schedule, and you read. You go with the reading assignment in the module 2 and come back to me on Monday. And for any homework or assignment, I recommend you have to work ahead. So if you have any challenge or any problem with the homework or assignment, you can raise question to me on the class. Remember that you have 4 ways to reach out to me, right? You can send me email, you can inbox me, you can join my office hour, or you can send me the job available in those time. Okay. Any other question? Any question? No? If no question, I see you guys on Monday. Okay. Bye guys. For the online guy, do you have any question?
No questions for me. Just actually one just came up. If I recall, it was a couple slides back. I think I might have took a picture of it. That was to download Python.
You can find everything in the slide. I uploaded already. You go to the module. When you go to the module, you scroll it down to the learning activity. So from the learning activity, you have the slide for module number 1.
Okay, awesome.
Everything in the slide.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, I was just making sure that way I had everything I needed for my personal computer to be able to do all the assignments. But it also looks like it'll be through the virtual computer as well.
That's great. Okay.
Okay,
I'll see
yeah,
you
that was
guys.
the
Bye bye.